What's going on, guys? In today's video, I'm going to show you how to build a chatbot from scratch that actually sounds like you. And no, it's not going to sound like a robot. This chatbot will message just like how you would. Now, I know a lot of you are thinking, I've seen AI, I know what it's capable of. I promise you, if you watch to the end of this video, you're going to learn something. Because not only does it sound like you, it can take on multiple messages at once, it can access a knowledge base trained on your business, and it can perform actions on your behalf as an AI agent. And this means better and faster responses, more sales, more time on your hands, and more money in your pocket. Welcome back, everyone. My name is Nick, and today we're going to build a chatbot live using the Chatbot Builder platform. Specifically in this video, we're going to be building a chatbot for a fitness coach, but these same principles can be applied to any industry and any niche at any time. So regardless if you're a fitness coach, you can build this same chatbot for your business, for your personal brand, for your clients, etc. This is something that I could easily charge $5,000 for, but today I'm going to show you how to build it completely for free. First things first, we'll need to create an account with Chatbot Builder. To do this, you can navigate to chatbotbuilder.io and sign up for a free account. I'll leave a link down in the description so you can follow along in real time. Now, before we jump into the build, I want to give you a quick high-level overview of what we want this chatbot to do. Now, traditionally, when we talk about chatbots, first there's going to be an input, then our AI is going to process the data, and then AI will give an output. But the problem with that is that leaves us with one-to-one messaging, meaning for every one input, we're going to get one output, which isn't really how humans talk. When I'm texting or when I'm messaging, sometimes I'll have fragmented text because I'll think of something later. So I'll have an incomplete thought and then finish it at a later time. So when this happens, the AI is going to respond to the first incomplete thought and then also the second thought, which is going to lead to redundancies with the AI messaging. And with that, this model is not going to be a trained model. So we're going to be getting long and robotic responses and additionally some inconsistent outputs because we're using billions and billions of parameters. So there's a lot to go off of, which is going to give inconsistent outputs because we haven't trained the model to respond exactly how we would like it. Now in the chatbot that we're going to build today, we're going to do things a little bit different. So first we're going to get our input. We'll then use AI to process our input, but in a slightly different way. So first, we're going to set a timer and combine multiple messages. So let's say we have a 1-minute timer. Within that 1 minute, if the user is sending multiple messages in a row, it's going to combine all of those messages together and then provide them with one or even multiple outputs if you desire. Next, it's going to search a knowledge base of files that you upload to the chatbot. So that way it has the knowledge of your business or anything else that you train it on. And finally, we're going to provide the chatbot with examples so that it has the correct tonality and structure of words when it's going to give an output. That way, our model can respond to multiple inputs. It can use a knowledge base that ChatGPT doesn't typically have, and it's going to sound like you within its response. So now that you understand the goal of what we're trying to accomplish, let's jump into the actual build. All right, so once you've created an account within Chatbot Builder, you'll be plopped into this dashboard right here. And in today's video, really the only tabs we need to focus on are the inbox, the flows, the keywords, and the settings. The inbox is where all of your messages are going to be incoming. And there's several different platforms we can connect this chatbot to. We can do WhatsApp, we can do Instagram DMs, we can do SMS. I'll show you all the integrations in a moment when we jump into the settings. Next is the keywords aspect. So in this video, we're going to be building a Instagram DM chatbot that is going to set appointments for a fitness coach. So the keyword section here is going to be activating the chatbot with a specific keyword in the DMs. Next is the settings tab. And this settings tab, if we click into it here, this is going to show us all of our different integrations, all the channels that we can connect to, and it's even going to allow us to modify our ChatGPT prompt. So if we look into the channels, again, we can integrate into WhatsApp, Instagram, our website, SMS. We can even chat over voice with the chatbot. We can do Facebook Messenger, Telegram, and even email. And within this integrations tab, this is where we're going to be accessing our OpenAI assistant, which is our custom GPT, and actually prompt engineering this custom GPT and adding our files as well. The final piece I want to hit on is this flows tab right here. And the flows tab, this is where we're going to be building out the actual automations that create the chatbot. So this is going to be where we're spending most of our time. But before we jump into building this flow, let's first connect our Instagram. So head over to the settings. We'll then go to channels and then grab our Instagram. And there will be a connect icon right here, which will allow you to log in with your Facebook that's connected to your Instagram. Once you've connected your Instagram, the first thing we need to do when we're building a chatbot is set a trigger. In this case, we're going to set a trigger as a keyword. So when someone DMs this user a keyword, it's going to start the automation. So to do this, we're going to head over to the keywords tab. Within the keywords tab, we can then create a new keyword. So this keyword, we can just do test. So when the user DMs the keyword test, it's going to activate our automation. And when the keyword test is sent, we're actually going to be sending over a flow. And in this case, we haven't created a flow yet, but I just kind of want to give you a sense of how the order of things go. A keyword comes in, and then that's going to activate a flow that we're about to build. So for now, let's just hit cancel, and then we'll go back to our flows. All right, so now that we're in our flows, let's create a new flow called keyword step 1. Anytime you create a new flow, it's going to come up with this send message button, and this is going to serve as your trigger. So here, instead of sending a message, what we want to do is we want to do 2 steps. One step is a flow that tags our user, and the second flow that initiates the chatbot based on only if the user is tagged. So if the user has that tag associated with them, then it's going to run the second flow. If not, the second flow will never activate. So what we want to do in this flow is simply tag the user once they've triggered the first automation. So what we're going to do here, instead of sending a message, we're going to click into this, we're going to hit add content, and then we are going to go to our actions and add tag. So here we can name it pretty much anything we want. We're just going to call it here test. We'll call it test tag. Okay, and we'll hit enter. And then that's going to create a new tag, and it's going to, when this flow is activated, add the test tag to the user. So that's literally all we need to do with this flow. If we hit publish, and then now if we go back to our keywords and we add our test keyword, so we go here, we'll click add, and we'll just call this, and when donut is sent, it's going to activate our flow that we just created, which we called keyword step 1. And that's going to tag the user with that test tag. So now that we have that set up, we're going to want to activate it. So make sure our status is set to on. So again, when someone DMs the word donut, the donut message is going to appear in this inbox. This inbox is going to contain everything that's connected in your integrations or your channels tab. So again, WhatsApp, Instagram, SMS, email, anything that you connect to your Chatbot Builder account, it's going to appear in this inbox, everything that comes in. So it doesn't matter if it's WhatsApp, SMS, it's all going to appear in this inbox. And if they send the keyword donut, it's going to activate this automation. It doesn't matter what platform it's coming from. That's just a quick thing to know. Now, Going back to our flows tab, let's take it from step 1. They send the keyword donut. When the keyword donut is sent, they're going to get tagged with this tag, and then we are going to activate our step 2 of the automation, which we're going to build right now. So now let's go and add a new flow, and we'll call it keyword step 2. So we'll add that. And in this automation, this is where we're actually going to build the chatbot. And with this chatbot, we only want it to be activated if the user has that tag that we created attached to the user. And to do this, we go to this plus icon here. We're going to set a condition, and we're going to select the condition tags. We can just type in tags is, and then we can choose our test tag right here. So only if the user has this test tag is this flow going to run. Otherwise, we're not going to set a follow-up action right here, but since our tag is test tag, then we'll go to send a message. Now, if you notice on this send message box right here, it says start. So right now, this is the trigger. We don't want that. We want the trigger to run through our conditional right here before it goes and sends a message. And to do this, we just hover over our conditional, and then we're going to hit this little play button, and that's going to set it as the starting step. So now it's going to run through, check if it has the tag test tag, and then if it does, it's going to go through and send this message. Now, the first message that we want to send is getting user data. So this is going to send a message, and it's going to get the response from the user and store it in a variable. So for this fitness coach, we're going to say something like, appreciate you reaching out, man. What's the big health goal you are looking to accomplish? And so this message is sent, and then it's going to wait for the user to reply to it. And so if we hit this edit right here, we can save this reply into a text field, and we can create a custom field. So we can just, we'll call it test. Oh, we got to add new. We'll call it test custom 1. And then we're going to remove this button. If you keep this button here in the DMs next to your message, there'll be a little skip icon, which we don't want to have because then it looks like a human or some kind of AI in the DMs, and we want it to look like it's this specific fitness coach responding to each message. So here, let's just remove this skip. We'll click save. So it's going to say this message. It's going to store the input in that variable that we just created, and then it's going to move on to the next message. All right, so here's where some of the secret sauce comes into play. So we're going to hit continue, and I know it says send message, but we can grab essentially any content. Like we can do actions, we can do images. It doesn't need to be a message. That's just what this block is called. And here we're going to go to our actions, inbox, and we're going to transfer the conversation to a human. And what that does is instead of this flow taking over what's going on in the DMs, it'll essentially transfer it to a human, and the flow is no longer activated. This is going to allow the user to send multiple messages in a row over a given time period, and then we're going to turn the bot back on, combine the messages, and then respond to it. If I don't transfer the conversation to a human and set a wait period here, that's when we're going to get the one-to-one messaging that I talked about previously, and it's going to look like it's AI. So that's why it's really important to transfer the conversation to a human. So we're going to transfer the conversation. Next, we're going to set a waiting period. So actually, I'm going to delete that. I'm going to click this plus, and I'm going to click wait. And this is the time interval that we're going to wait to collect those responses from the user. So in this case, I'm just going to do 15 seconds. And this is just for testing purposes. I'll probably switch this to around a minute when it goes live, but we're just going to do 15 seconds for now. So we're not waiting all day to see a response when we go to test this. And then after that, we're going to transfer the conversation back to the bot. So we go to Actions, Inbox, Transfer Conversation to Bot. And again, what this is doing is there's a 15-second time interval for the user to send multiple messages in a row, and the bot's not going to respond to every single message. Now that we've transferred the conversation back to the bot, our next step is to actually respond to whatever the user said to our question that we asked right here. And to do this, we are going to add another module. And here we are going to choose the OpenAI module. So we'll hit Actions, OpenAI, and here's where we're going to put our input for our OpenAI prompt. So this is where the AI processing is going to take place. In this case, we're just going to be responding to that initial message. We're not going to be combining anything just yet. So here, what I've done is I've actually created an assistant, which I will show you in a second. We'll choose our assistant, and then we're going to choose that variable that we created when we're getting the user data. So if we just delete the current user message, and then we pull in the variable that we created, which is our test custom 1, and then we save it to a new custom field, which we'll call this one test custom 2. So it's pulling in the user message test custom 1, and it's going to save this new response in test custom 2. So then we just hit continue, and then this right here is going to generate the response to the question, appreciate you reaching out, man. What's the big health goal you're looking to accomplish? So maybe they're saying, I want to lose 20 pounds by the end of the year. That's going to take that input. I want to lose 20 pounds by the end of the year. It's going to put it into our AI that we've created. And again, I'm going to show you the prompt for our assistant in a moment. And then it's going to generate a response, which we are going to send back to the user. So we can go ahead and hit continue here. And now while we're here, let's take a look at what this actual assistant prompt looks like. So I'm just going to duplicate this tab. Little life hack for you, just duplicate, and then you can keep this tab and then go to a different tab and make your changes. Then we're going to go to settings. We'll go to integrations, OpenAI, and then we're going to create an assistant by hitting manage. Here we would add our assistant, but since I've already created these assistants, I'm going to just choose this one, and I'll show you the prompt that I put into it. And here's the prompt. So I said, you're a flexible and conversational sales chatbot for Michael, assistant, a fitness coach specializing in helping men achieve rapid transformation. You act as Michael in the chat. You will never reveal that you're a chatbot. Your goal is to respond succinctly and naturally and guide prospects user towards booking a call on Michael's Calendly link. Now, this is important to define who the user is and who the assistant is. When you're chatting with an AI model, the user is the person that's putting in the input. The assistant is the AI that's giving you the output. Now, this is going to be important later on in the prompt. I define the guidelines for the prompt, but I put multiple examples in, and by saying user and assistant, the AI knows the roles of what's going in and what's going out. So I have all these guidelines here. I'm not going to break down every single one, but I just want to show you that within my guidelines, I have the assistant saying the specific goals, and then I have exact examples. So for example, example 1, user, I want to lose 20 pounds and get in better shape. Assistant, gotcha. What's your current age, height, and weight? This is how Michael, this particular user, would respond. So we have the assistant responding accordingly to how he would typically talk in the DMs. The user or the prospect is saying, I'm 26, 5'10", 230 pounds. Assistant, all right, what's been the hardest part about losing those 20 pounds? User, I eat too much junk food and don't have the time to work out. Assistant, yeah, that can be tough. Have you tried making any changes? So you get the point. That's one example. I've got multiple examples built in here based on screenshots that he sent me. And again, this can be used across any industry, any niche. It doesn't have to be a fitness coach. This is just one specific use case that I'm breaking down in this example. Cool. So we got a bunch of examples here. We can choose the model that we want to use. There's also functions. So I actually built into the prompt, if the prospect is under 18 years old, it'll automatically connect the user to a human. So that means the prospect will no longer get a response from the chatbot. It'll automatically pass it off to Michael because he doesn't work with people that are under 18 years old. He only works with people that are 18 and older. So therefore, we don't want a conversation going back and forth with the chatbot trying to get them to book a sales call because he can't work with them anyways. Another time we're using this function is after the calendar link is sent and the user has confirmed that they're going to be attending that meeting and that they've booked in, then it's going to stop the chat. So if the user or the prospect continues to chat back and forth, they're not going to get a response from AI and Michael can take over from there. All right, so we have our prompt for the AI assistant. Now let's jump back into the flow. We have our AI that's generating a response to that initial question. What we're going to do now is put out that response, show the output in the Instagram DMs, and collect a new response. So what we're going to do is add a new message. We'll create a get user data. And remember, when we do a get user data, we're going to output a message first, and then we're going to wait for that user to respond. So here, we're going to put the output from OpenAI, which if we click into this module, it's going to be our test custom 2. So we'll output test custom 2. And then where are we going to save the input once they respond to test custom 2? We're going to save that in a new variable, a new text variable, and we can just save that back into test custom 1 because we've already used that within the flow. From here, this is when we want to start aggregating our responses together. So again, what we're going to do is we'll transfer our conversation to the human, we'll wait 15 seconds, and then transfer our conversation back to the bot once again so we can combine all of our responses together. So we're going to hit continue. We'll add our action of transferring the, we'll add our action of transferring the conversation to the human. And I'm just going to put this up here for now, and you'll see why in a second. And we'll add a wait module for 15 seconds. We'll connect these together. And then we'll transfer the conversation back to the bot. All right, now we're going to do something a little bit funky, so stick with me here. What we're going to do is we're going to hit continue, and we're going to do another OpenAI module, but this time we're going to combine our responses from our previous chats. So what we're going to do is add OpenAI. We don't need to do an assistant here, so we'll just stick with the normal generate text. So this is like a normal ChatGPT prompt essentially. And I'm going to paste the following prompt. And I'll leave this in the description so you can just copy and paste it, but it's pretty simple. Basically, I'm just saying combine the user's last messages if there is more than one applicable messages that have not been responded to. So if there's multiple messages we haven't responded to, take them and combine them into one sentence. If it's just one message that hasn't been responded to, then we're just going to take that one sentence and output it. And the reason we're doing that is because we're going to take those 3 sentences or 2 sentences or 5 sentences, however many messages it is, we're going to take them and combine them in this one prompt. And we're using this custom user field called chat history, which takes the last 50 messages of the user and the assistant. And it'll take whatever the last messages are, determine if the assistant has responded to those messages. And if they haven't, it'll take those sentences or those messages and combine them all together. So that's what this prompt is doing. Now, once you paste this prompt in, I'm going to go ahead and put the user input as our test custom. I think I saved this as test custom 1. And then we'll save this to a new field called combined response. Essentially, it's taking the output from the user input here. So we see it's being saved in test custom 1. It's going to transfer to a human. It's going to wait for 15 seconds. So it's getting all of these inputs from test custom 1. And then it's going to combine them together and put them into our combined response custom field. From here, we're actually going to add another module within the same block. And this is kind of to keep everything condensed, but we're going to add a second tag to the user. And I'll explain why in a second. So we're going to say add action, add tag, and we're going to call this second pass. And the reason we're doing this is because on this side of the flow, every single time that the user is messaging the bot, we don't want it to say, appreciate you reaching out, man. What's the big health goal you're looking to accomplish? We only want it to respond back and forth within the same thread. What we're going to do is instead of just having our condition, tags is test tag, we're going to add a second condition here. So we'll click condition. We're going to run this into this condition field. And then this condition is going to be another tag condition. So we'll go to tags, is, and then we'll do second pass and hit save. So if the user does not have this tag, that means it's the first time they're going through this flow, and then they should be sent the appreciate you reaching out, man message. If they do have this tag, what we want to have happen is we just go all the way directly to this portion of the conversation because we're collecting data, we're combining it, and then we're outputting data. So that's how we're going to forego this portion of the messaging. Okay, now that we have our combined response, it's being generated within this OpenAI module here. What we can do is take that combined response, send it over to our assistant, generate a response, and then finally output it to the user. So this is going to be pretty much similar to before. We're going to add a new OpenAI module. We'll click into it. We'll give our user message the combined response field, and then we'll save it to a new custom field. We can just do our test custom 1 field. We'll click continue, and now we just need to output test custom 1, and we should be good to go. So we'll click continue, and in this case, we don't want to get user data. We just want to output our last response. So we'll just do our test custom 1, and we should be good to go. We'll click publish. And now there's just one final step in order to start our flow and start testing it out. So after we've hit published, we'll go back to our flows. We're going to ensure that both our keyword step 1 flow and our keyword step 2 flow are both activated. And then what we're going to do is go back to our settings. So we'll hit settings. And we're going to make our second flow the default reply. Now, what is the default reply? The default reply is the flow that's activated anytime a chat comes through the inbox. And the reason why we put a conditional at the very, very beginning of the second flow was because we only want people that have the specific test tag that they were assigned in the first flow to activate the second flow. That way, the AI setter doesn't talk to every single person that comes to the DMs. It's only the people that have sent the keyword, which activates the first flow, which activates the second flow. So now all we have to do is select our default reply as the keyword step 2 flow. We'll click save. And now we can start to test things out. So if we go to Instagram, and then we can actually message this user. And real quick, I'm just going to check the settings of our first flow. And I'm just going to add one quick thing. So I'm going to send the second flow automatically after the first flow is activated. That way you don't have to send 2 messages in a row. So the first flow is activated, the tag is added, and then after that, another message needs to be sent in order to activate the second flow. Let's just jump right into it and activate the second flow once our keyword donut is sent. So I'm going to do send flow. I'm going to do keyword step 2. Then I'll publish this and we should be good to go. So now, if I put in our keyword, if I can spell it right, I'll hit send. And there we go. Appreciate you reaching out, man. What's the big health goal you are looking to accomplish? So let's try this out now. I am trying to lose 20 pounds by the end of the year. Let's see what it says. Again, it's going to take about 15 seconds to respond. And there we go. Got it. What's your age, height, and weight? So now let's try to trick it and make sure that it's not giving a one-to-one response. This time, I'm going to input my age, height, and weight as separate messages. So I'm going to say, I am 26. I am 300 pounds, 5'11". And let's see if it gives us 3 responses. Oh, okay. So that's good that we just found that out. So this is actually returning the exact result that we put in. So that means there's a misstep in one of our flows. So if we go back to our second flow, go to flows, we'll do keyword step 2. So this is what's going on. Instead of choosing my assistant that I created in our response, I actually just have a generate text here. We want to make sure we're selecting the correct assistant and then sending over our combined response once everything is combined. So that's why it didn't format correctly. So if I just hit publish, and this is a good chance for you to see how when you're testing, you can restart a conversation as well. So I just saved that. I'm going to go back to flows. And then we'll hit inbox here. And then in his inbox, we can see that I messaged, I am 26, I'm 300 pounds, 5'11", and then we have our response here. Now, to reset everything, I'm going to go down, send flow, clear and delete conversation. So this is like nothing happened. It's going to erase the tags assigned to my user, and we can go ahead and run this test again. So we can go back to Instagram. And obviously, it's still going to show up in Instagram. It's just going to be deleted on the CBB side. And so we can just restart our test. I'll put in donut. And here we go. Appreciate you reaching out, man. What's the big health goal you're looking to accomplish? Okay, so now I can, again, just say the same message. So I don't have to type it out again.
We'll give it 15 seconds to load up and see how it responds. Cool. Got it. What's your current age, height, and weight? So I'll do the same thing. I am 26. I am 300 pounds. We'll do 6'4". And let's see what it says now. And there we go. All right. What's been the toughest part about losing those 20 pounds? Let's say, oh, I'm just lazy. I lack the motivation and the discipline to lose the weight. And the way we have our assistant set up is there's a sequence of questions that it goes down. And if you mention anything that is potentially a question or something that the AI will want to dig into a little further, it'll ask open-ended questions to get you to clarify what you mean. I understand that's a common challenge. Have you tried anything before to help with motivation or discipline? So take a look at these responses coming from the AI. They're very succinct, they're short, and they're exactly how Michael would typically respond. No, I have not tried anything. We'll just send that. I really like eating sweets before bed. They're yummy. And again, a normal chatbot, it would be responding to every single one of these messages that I sent. The no, I have not tried anything. I really like sweets. They're yummy. It would give you 3 responses, which is a dead giveaway that it's AI. In this case, we're just getting 1 response back from the AI, and it actually sounds like this fitness coach. Okay, so it said sweets can definitely be tempting, especially in the evening. Have you tried any strategies to cut back on them before bed? We'll just say no. And just see what it says. Got it. What's your day-to-day look like? Are you on your feet a lot, or is it more desk work? I do a lot of desk work. I'm an AI developer. And the thing is here too, when you're in the DMs, it's not going to be typically a 15-second delay. I would probably put it around a minute so it seems more natural in its responses, especially it gives you a longer one. So it's not like this guy, Michael, is in his DMs typing 24/7. He's got a life. He's going to respond in a minute or two. It's not going to be instantaneously. All right. So AI says, makes sense. I've got a few strategies that could help you out. How quickly are you looking to get started? Say, looking to get started ASAP. Gotcha. We can walk through my RT method to get you shredded as fuck right here. Cool. You can click on the Calendly link. The link works. Yep. We can just pretend that I booked in. Say, awesome, man. Booked in. And if you remember, it's going to say like one more message. And then if I continue messaging Michael, it's going to connect the user to a human. So it's going to stop responding. It'll give me one more response. Yep, awesome, man. Looking forward to it. And I could say, likewise, looking forward to it as well. But the AI is not going to respond after this because we've programmed in that function of connecting users to a human. And that's just a default function that's built out within CBB, but you can actually build out functions yourself, but that's the topic of another video. There we go. We've learned how to build custom AI chatbots that sound exactly like you, that can perform actions on your behalf, and that are trained on your business. Again, if you want something like this installed in your business or in your operations, you can book a free consult call with our team below. If you found this video helpful, consider liking, consider subscribing. It shows me what videos you want to see more of in the future. Other than that, feel free to leave any comments or questions down below, or feel free to reach out to me on Instagram at @TheNickCornelius. Other than that, I will see you in the next video.